Well, I love that opening when we come back to talk about, concerts and theater and so forth. You saw that guitar and that vocalist there. Well, this is a wonderful opportunity to enjoy an incredible concert. It is called Golden Harvest. Here to tell us more about it, I am joined by Laurence Ewashko. He is the professor of choral activities and voice at the U of O School of Music. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here, Laurence.
Great to be here.
Tell me a little bit about choral activities and voice at U of O.
Well, I've been working there since a long time. 1989.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
so I've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a big passion for me. I'm involved in other things, of course, in the city, working at the National Arts Centre as well. So at the U of O, we've had a lot of people going through our programs. Every year we've had, prior to COVID, an orchestral and choral event to basically to cap off the year. And this year it's so great to have this event being presented at the U of O, finally.
Yeah.
To have the choirs, we've got 100 people singing, and also the entire orchestra.
Well, what's your background in music? Obviously, you said it's a passion. It must be been a big part of your life all throughout.
Yes, I was discovered by Barbara Clark, who was a very important person in the school system of being able to, as an 8-year-old, she found me. And then she sent me into the school system, and then I went to the university system, and I went to Vienna. I was in Vienna for a while, and was also in Ukraine for a while, studying. So I've had a little bit of a European background before I came back here.
Right. Tell me about the inspiration for commissioning this, because this is a trilingual. Am I right?
Yes, it's in English, French, and in Ukrainian.
Okay.
So the inspiration actually came from me being in Ukraine in 2011 and meeting a composer by the name of Alexander Kozarenko, and he had written an oratorio, and I thought, we don't have that many Canadian oratorios. So I thought, why don't I commission Larissa Kuzmenko, who's a friend of mine, and also speak to a young poet here in Ottawa. Her name is Talia Zayets, and she is fluent in English, French, and Ukrainian. So it worked really well for her to be able to create the text, and that was inspiring Kuzmenko to be able to create this score. And that was for the 125th anniversary of Ukrainian settlement in Canada, which was in 2016.
Laurence, for people that aren't familiar with what an oratorio is, can you describe that for us?
Sure. There are basically 3 components: orchestra, choir, and soloists. This has 2 soloists, a baritone and a soprano, and we have the choir and the orchestra, which is going to be, and it's in this oratorio is in 3 movements. Okay. So it tells the story of an immigrant family coming over in the 1890s and what they were experiencing when they got here. A lot of the people didn't realize that they had to go out into the prairie, and there's your land. Right. Go and live.
Yeah, exactly. That you're kind of left to your own devices, right? I mean, kind enough for you to give us some land, but now what, right?
With so the 40 below, and you come in and you have to build a house out of sod, basically, until you could actually clear the land, and then all of that. And then, of course, there was an internment happened, which is during the First World War, where the men were taken off and put in prison. And for 5 years, the women worked the land, harvested, sowed, harvested for 5 years. And then the men came back, and they were just in awe that these women were able to just keep working the land and getting a harvest in. So that's the whole celebration of that. So
hence the name, right? Golden Harvest.
Yeah.
The history of oratorio, how long has it been around?
It's been a long time, since the Baroque period.
I see, okay. There's also, in the notes I took down, the historical content of the libretto. Can you tell me about that?
So Talia did a lot of research in actually what happened over the time period in that early period of having people to come over. So the agents came from Canada to get immigrants. Now, Canada had just opened up the railroad. Okay. So they wanted to have people actually living in the land. So where they went to was Eastern Europe. And so they brought all these folks over to be able to settle in the prairies, to be able to work the land. And also the Canadians were actually afraid of an American invasion, possibly land taking, land grabbing. Right. So they wanted to have people who were settling here in Canada. And that was the whole inspiration for this whole migration that came.
Tell me more about the performers in this production.
Right. So we have 3 choirs, 2 of them from the University of Ottawa Choir, University of Ottawa School of Music, and we have the University of Ottawa Choir, which is a larger community choir of about 60.
Okay.
The 2 choirs together from the school are 40 people. So, and usually mostly voice majors.
I imagine you have a conductor.
Yes.
That oversees this. Tell me a little bit about the conductor.
Rafi Armenian is our interim conductor. He is coming in from Montreal, actually, and he actually studied in the same school that I studied in Vienna. So we have a little bit of a connection there.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, and we have 2 soloists, Irina Medvedeva, and she's a graduate of the University of Ottawa from the master's program, and also John Avey, who teaches voice at the University of Ottawa.
The University of Ottawa School of Music, I think it's one of those gems where people don't realize how much success has come out of it, right? Because, when we think of music, oftentimes these days, pop culture comes to mind, and, what's happening, the Juno Awards just happened, but, the music that we're talking about is still extremely popular around the world. Oh, yeah. There are so many success stories coming out of the school, aren't there?
Yes. We've had some very fine singers who've had, it's a hard job,
It is.
It's a really hard job, and to be able to be a singer or to be an instrumentalist, many hours of work, and a lot of our students have been successful in getting jobs around the world.
Yeah.
Basically and also here locally, a lot of my students, I'm proud to say, are in the choral scene here in the schools.
Excellent. Good to hear. Tell us about the date and the venue and how people can get tickets.
So the tickets are available on Eventbrite or at the University of Ottawa School of Music website, and you can also. It's going to be at 7 p.m. on the 31st of March.
Okay.
In St. Joseph's Church at the University of Ottawa campus.
Yeah, beautiful venue.
Yeah.
For people at home that have never been to that venue, it's a great venue to go and see music. Laurence, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Again, at St. Joseph's Church, and you can look up on Eventbrite, look for Golden Harvest. We'll be right back after this.